Kisyuk wisdom. Kisyuk quiet. Kisyuk kyukyet. Kapinishkesh. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another Warrior Wednesdays. And I want to give a little bit of acknowledgement. I don't know why I haven't been doing this, because I usually do this, but there's always room for improvement, how I've talked about before. So today I want to give land acknowledgement to the Squamish people, the Tsleil-Waututh people, and the Musqueam people for allowing me to live on their lands, because myself, I am a settler. I'm a guest. I'm not a settler, but I'm a guest on these lands of, in Vancouver, British Columbia, where I live. And that's one thing that we tend to overlook. If you're in North America, or if you're in certain parts of the world, Australia, Hawaii, there were people there before you, and that you're a guest on their land. And even though I'm indigenous myself, I'm Tunacha, my ancestors aren't from this area. So I want to give that land acknowledgement to these people, and I want to say Sukini for allowing me to be on your lands, So thank you for that. And I should have been doing that before, but like I've talked about before on previous podcasts, you can always learn, you can always expand, you can always grow, even if it's just 0.001% every day. And today I want to talk about our mind, our brains, and how powerful our brains are, how powerful our mind is. Our mind is so powerful. It's crazy that our minds are actually more powerful than the smartphones we use, our tablets, the computers. Our mind is a computer. It's like if you've ever watched The Matrix. The Matrix is a phenomenal story when you look at it. And that's how our brains are. You take the blue or red pill. What do you want in life? What do you want from life? And when you always have the decision every day on what pill you want to take. Do you want to take that red pill, or do you want to take that blue pill? Do you want to just keep living your life? If you're happy at where you're at in life, that's okay. If it's a mundane life, wherever you're at in life, that's okay. But if you want change, if you want to grow, which I know you want to grow, because you wouldn't be here listening to my podcast if you didn't want to grow deep down inside. You got to understand that your mind is a computer. And if you've never seen The Matrix, I highly recommend that you take some time and go watch it. Spend a weekend watching it with a loved one or some family, and kind of look at it like a documentary. That's the way I learned to look at The Matrix, as a documentary from a person that I follow myself, a person that I support, a person who doesn't know who I am yet, but I've listened and I've consumed a lot of his content. And he talks about that, on how the mind is so powerful. And you need to go back and watch The Matrix and look at The Matrix as it's just a documentary. Don't think of it as a fake movie. Look at it as a documentary, and you'll start to see things on how, if you look at it as a documentary, that you can bring into your own life. How you have compatibility. You have that, ability to learn anything in the world, which is so powerful that it's already there within you. Because if you want to learn that, ultimately it's a dream, and you were born with that in you. So it's already in you. You just have to uncover it. It's like a lost treasure. Deep down within inside of you, there's a long lost treasure. And once you open that treasure box, that gift comes out. So if you want to learn something, understand that it's in you. You have it in there somewhere deep down inside, and you just got to find it and open it and share that treasure with the world. And that's how you bring light to this world. And what really inspired me to talk about this, about the mind and how powerful it is a conversation I had with a mutual friend, a friend that, I've kind of been inspired by some of her posts, and she's been inspired by some of my posts. And she sees that I get up, some days at 2:30 a.m. to work out. And she's been pretty passionate about, fitness herself. But with the whole restrictions with COVID and here in British Columbia, that now that they're opened up, she's kind of got out of habit of working out, because 3 weeks is a long time. You create new habits. 3 weeks is how long basically it takes to create a new habit. And so she was having problems going to work because she's a nurse, working long hours as a nurse, and then trying to find the energy to work out after work. And it just wasn't working for her. So she reached out to me for some tips on how I wake up early. And one thing I told her, I told her a couple things she should try. And I said to allow herself to get into a rest mode, like to lay down and relax, is to, when she lays down and she puts her head down on that pillow, is to look back throughout her day and kind of just take that time to go through the day and find good things that she was grateful for that happened throughout her day. And that allows you to declutter the whole day, and it allows your mind to shift into, it's bedtime mode. And then another thing I told her to do, which I've used a lot, and I'll talk about it in another podcast, but counting down from 5. So what I will do is I'll lay down, put my head down on the pillow, go throughout my day, find the things that I was grateful for, that I learned, the situations that had happened, where I grew, just even simply waking up that day I was grateful for. And then after I go through everything that I'm grateful for, I will count from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then after 1, I tell myself, okay, it's time to go to sleep. It's bedtime. And when you count down from 5, it's pretty powerful on that. And I tell myself it's bedtime. It's sleep time. And my body knows and my mind knows that it's time to go to bed. And when I tell myself that, I'll say, it's time to go to bed. You're going to wake up at 2:01 a.m. excited and full of energy and fully rested. And that's what I told her to do. But I didn't tell her to wake up at 2. I told her to wake up whatever time she wanted to wake up. So she said 6. So I said, okay, tell yourself to wake up at 6:01 a.m. Or you use a random off number like 6:02 or 6:03 or 6:04. You don't always use directly right on the hour, because it's kind of a habit that we've instilled before to wake up at 6 a.m. before you've done it and you didn't wake up. So if you say 6:01, it's a whole new habit. You're switching that to 6:01 just by 1 minute, telling yourself, okay, I'm going to wake up at 6:01 a.m. fully rested and with energy to get up and go work out. And you know what she did? She listened and she followed those steps. And she woke up with energy, and it was kind of, and she said it was kind of cool. Like, it was cool. It wasn't kind of cool. It was cool. It was powerful that she woke up with all of that energy. And you know what she did? She went and worked out. That was her goal. She wanted to work out before work. And that just goes to show how powerful your mind is. Just by a few little simple steps on decluttering your day, giving gratitude by getting into that form of gratitude so you're having a good, amazing sleep. You're not holding on to grudges, you're not holding on to stress, you're not holding on to all those things. You're happy, open, and free. So it allows your body to get into deeper sleeps. And then you count back from 5 and you say, okay, it's time to go to sleep. And I want you to wake up at this time, full of energy and ready to go. And that's one thing that's able to get me up at 2 in the morning, 2:01 a.m. to get up at that time in the morning, excited to go work out. I'm happy to get up at that time now. And there's another trick that I want to share later on in another podcast. But this is the thing I wanted to talk about, and how she started to do that. And she started to create that habit now of waking up at that time. And how you can do the same thing, and how powerful your mind is. A lot more powerful than you realize. And the things that you tell yourself are going to happen, that are ultimately going to happen throughout your day. So if you want to create new habits, if you want to get up before work, before your day, before school, start doing these little steps. Do these little steps and let me know in the comments. Send me a message later on, wherever you're watching this. Comment that if it worked for you or not, because it may not work for you, but it worked for me, so I just shared that with someone else. All these tips that I share, these stories that I share, are things that have happened throughout my life and what I have used personally to overcome things. And that's all it is. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, not right now. Maybe one day in the future I may be, who knows, right? But at this very moment in life, that's not who I am. And these are just things that I've learned throughout my journey. So it would be kind of interesting, honestly, to see if that works for you or not. So I challenge you for the next week, if you want to wake up early, you want to wake up a half an hour early, you want to wake up an hour early, to maybe start off your morning in gratitude and things like that, and to get a morning routine in place. Do that. Do these steps. Look throughout your day with what you were grateful for that happened. Count down from 5. Tell yourself it's bedtime, you're going to sleep. And then tell yourself what time you want to wake up. And say, I want to wake up at 3, 4:01, 4:02 a.m., full of energy and fully rested. Then your brain knows that it's time to go to bed, to get fully rested, so you can wake up at that time. I'm honestly interested. If you do this, let me know how it's worked for you, and if it's worked, and if it does, that's amazing. And if it doesn't, keep trying. It might work for you eventually. And realize that your brain, your mind is the limit. It's limitless. There's that saying, and anytime I hear it, I think of Biggie Smalls now. The sky is the limit, the song he sung, but it's not. The sky isn't the limit. Your mind is the limit. Your mind is a computer. It's a database. It's a source of energy. It's a source of life. It's, when you think of the brain, you think of, what you see, the context of a brain, all the little, I don't know how to describe a brain, but you understand when you see a brain, you kind of think of the whole like squiggly lines and all the, it kind of looks like ground beef. When you buy ground beef, how it's all like squiggly, how it comes out like that. That's what the brain looks like to me. It may look differently to you, but when I think of the mind, or I think of the brain, that's what I think of. But when I think of the mind is so much more than that. The mind is like faith. You cannot see the mind at all. With the human eye, we cannot comprehend the mind. To be able to comprehend the mind, you actually have to experience that and be in that situation, in that person. And that goes for, when we're thinking things about other people, we ultimately don't know what they are thinking. We're just making things up in our own mind on what they're thinking. And we won't know what they're actually thinking until we ask them. If we blatantly, flat out just ask someone what they're thinking. Until then, it's just a make-believe story. It's just an imagination in our mind. And sometimes, as people, we make up stories within our mind about other people. We make up stories about what they think on a certain situation, on what's going on. When in all reality, it could have nothing to do with that. It could be the total exact opposite of what we're actually trying to think and make up. So the mind is honestly the most unique thing in this world, because we cannot tap into someone's mind. We can't understand the experiences they've had, the things they've gone through. We never ever fully will be able to understand that. And the same thing goes with us as people. No one will be able to truly understand what you've grown through, what you've been through, the experiences you felt, the experiences you've witnessed in life. That's what's so unique about our mind, that our brain is so unique. Our mind is so unique to us, to you. We all have different minds. And that's why common sense isn't common, because we all grow up in different atmospheres. We all grow up in different, practices, different religions, different spiritualities. Some of us grow up with different languages. Either that be love languages, either that be, finance languages, either that just be like physical, actually languages. We all grew up in different things. So if you think one thing is common to you, it may not even be common to someone else, because they've grown up in a different environment. So that whole saying, common isn't, common. Oh shoot, I thought I lost my thinking. And that's sometimes that happens, because I get so lost and I get so into this situation that it takes a second for my mind to come back to what I was talking about, because I get so passionate into that when I'm talking about. Oh, common sense. See, there you go. Common sense isn't common anymore, because it really was never common. If you look back at history, nothing has always been common, because people come from different places. different environments. We're like flowers. You can't bring a certain flower into a certain environment and it'll grow. It's just not how it is. That's why palm trees only grow in a certain environment, because that's the environment they need to thrive their most, and that's what's common for them. But if you grab a palm tree from Florida and you bring it all the way up to Alaska, it's gonna die, right? And then if you take a tree from Alaska and bring it down to Florida, it's gonna die, because that's not common to it. That's not its environment. That's not what it's, what it's meant to be. So that's how our minds are, and understand that we all come from different places. We all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different beliefs. And realize that your mind is so powerful. You have the capability of achieving most anything you set your mind to. There are things that you won't be able to achieve per se, like say you want to become an NBA star, but you pick up your basketball at 30 years old. You may not be able to get into the NBA, but that's not to say that you won't become a phenomenal basketball player. You won't become an amazing basketball player. You just might be able to make it into the NBA, or for any sports per se. Say you want to start playing hockey but you're in your 40s or whatever. You may not make it into the NHL, but you might become a phenomenal hockey player. You might become a really good hockey player. And there are people that have proven that theory wrong, though, because there are Olympic athletes that have started training later on in their lives that have received gold medals, that have made it to the Olympics, which is by far an achievement in its own. Even just making it to the Olympics is pretty phenomenal. Like it's crazy, even to just get your chance to shoot your shot at winning a medal is phenomenal. So there are people that have made it to the Olympics who picked up that sport really late in life. So just because I say that, you may not make it into the NBA. You might, or you might even just make it into the Olympics and then win a gold medal in that category. So understand that you have the compatibility to learn anything. You do. And your mind is so powerful that whatever you tell it to do, it's gonna eventually find that. It'll eventually seek it out and find it. So start to tell yourself the things you want to see in your life. Start to tell yourself that you're powerful, that your mind is limitless, and come at life with a growth and open mindset. Understand that you are not ever gonna know everything, but that's okay, because you can work towards learning things in life. So with that, I'm done for this Wednesday. Thank you for this Warrior Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in. And I really hope that you give this a shot. You give this little challenge a shot on how to, even just simply by going to bed early or by going to sleep and using these steps to get a restful sleep, to wake up fully energized, to wake up grateful, to wake up with full energy. And let me know how it worked out for you. Sukani Dagas on Winnegit. If you like this, share it with a friend, share it with a family member, leave a comment, give me a rating, let me know what I need to improve on. I'm still working, I'm always learning and progressing. And someone asked me if I could turn the volume up a bit and tweak my volume so they could listen to me more. So I've been working on that as well. I turned my microphone up a little bit. I paid for a little bit extra per month on my through Buzzsprout, so they can tweak my audio also, so you can get the best quality. Let me know what I need to improve on, and I'll take it as an open mindset. So remember, everything happens for the right reasons. See you next Wednesday. Take care.